What is up, everybody? I'm Kevin Iole. I am here at UFC Apex. Dana White Contender Series is going on, but I always got time for my main man, Joaquin Buckley. Ever since that knockout of Impa Kasanganay, I said, I got to watch this guy fight. I got to interview this guy, one of the most entertaining fighters in the UFC. Joaquin, welcome. I appreciate you joining me.
I appreciate you for having me again, Yeah, so it's a good one.
So I was afraid for a while there that you and UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier might get into it. So you might have had two
You
fights.
getting straight to it. You getting straight to it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I get to see my guy DC. I get to see my guy DC tomorrow. So it's all about the energy that he brings. But he's a professional, like I'm a professional. So we ain't gonna do nothing but just have a good convo, good talk. Behind closed doors, probably.
So for people who don't know why I bring that up, after Joaquin's last fight, he had a great performance, calls out Conor McGregor. Now, Joaquin, I think I might be the only person on the planet who at the time, in real time, tweeted good call out.
Yeah.
And my thought was, okay, you're never going to fight Conor McGregor. But people were talking about you.
There you go. There you go. And that's all that matters.
So to me, that's what I thought was happening. Was that what was in your mind? Did you kind of feel like, hey, I'm going to set this up and get the buzz going?
Of course, obviously Conor McGregor is the biggest name in sports history, not just even in MMA or in the UFC, it's just in sports in general. So, calling out him and calling his name out on my biggest moment, fighting in my hometown in St. Louis, right, where I got the crowd behind me. I was like, why not use this moment? Regardless if I get the fight or not, it doesn't matter. I'm making that call out, you know what I mean? And I know the numbers was going to go up. If I would have called out anybody else, maybe I could have got the fight, but it wouldn't got the same buzz, like Conor did. So, I'm glad I did what I did, and made some things happen,
How much have people talked to you in the interim? Like, have you gotten more interviews? Have you had people approach you and say, hey, I saw that moment with Conor McGregor?
A couple people, you know what I mean? But right now, luckily, I just been able to focus on me and just focus on everything that I'm doing. I got a big fight on, in my hands with Wonderboy, so I got another challenge. So I just believe, with the Wonderboy call out, just people are just intrigued to see, what I'm yapping about and why I think I deserve a big fight. So luckily I got the Wonderboy fight, which is just as big, I feel like, in my heart, just with the level of skill and just the name, right? Because also Wonderboy is a big name in the industry. So in order to get that fight, and go out there and show out, I believe I can do big things right after that.
You have a win over Vicente Luque, but I would think that this would be, at UFC 307 in Salt Lake City. If you beat Stephen Thompson, this has got to be the biggest win of your career in my mind.
Yeah. I believe so as well. Yet again, bro, you talking about a person that fought for a world title. Did he win? No, but he came close, right? Drawing with Tyron Woodley, you know what I mean, and then fighting him a second time, and still with a close fight. So I just believe, just showing the levels that I've grown and just what my potential is at 170. I believe that Wonderboy is the perfect dance partner for that.
Your, striking has always been your calling card. Everybody loves, the fights when you're in, you're exciting. But you have seemingly, to me, added a lot to your game. And the fact that you're not just a one-dimensional guy, like, getting, like we know in the main event, Alex Pereira and Khalil Rountree,
somebody going to sleep on that one, yeah.
Yeah, you can bet huge money there's no takedowns. But I think that's been the one thing about you, that your game has really evolved over the years.
Mm-hmm. I would have to say that, definitely being at 185, I always just wanted to be just an entertainer. It wasn't really just even winning that was on my mind. I just wanted to entertain and go out there and put on a show. So, I just be, throwing and swinging and doing all these other things. But, a lot of that stuff, you don't set it up. And if you don't, put a strategy behind it, you can get yourself hurt. So with that being said, I had to clean up my style a little bit. I had to improve my skill sets, and mix up the game. And when you do mix up the game, it allows those setup shots and those knockouts to come a lot easier, than you just going straight for them. So, I think my wrestling can set up a lot of good knockouts as well.
What was your take on Stephen's fight against Kevin Holland? Right, Kevin Holland, a pretty good striker and a diverse arsenal of strikes, and and I was surprised as Steven was not gassed at all in that fight, and he
No,
was
no,
really
no, no, no,
going
no,
for it
no.
towards the end of the fight.
He put Kev through the ringer. You know, the first round was definitely competitive, but you know, as the fight went on, you know, Wonderboy just just started rolling, just started flowing in the fight. But what I think about the fight, I think it was fun. It was an exciting fight to watch. Obviously, with them going back and forth. But you know, at the end of the day, I just really believe that the type of fighter that I am, I got good cardio too. You know, I got a good pace too. You know, it's gonna be hard to try to put me in a position where I feel uncomfortable. So, I'm very excited on what Wonder Boy has for me in this fight.
He said, I saw a quote from him in an interview he did. He said, "I'm 41, but I feel like I'm 25." Right.
Yeah, yeah,
And I will give him credit. Like, for a while there, I thought he went down when he fought Bilal Mahab and everything. But now,
right, right.
he's been doing that. Do you feel like if you push the pace on him, you can maybe in the second half of the fight, especially you're fighting at altitude,
Yeah.
make him kind of feel 41 years old?
I'm prepared for the best version of Wonder Boy. You know, he's been in the game for a long time, been training in karate since he was 3 years old with his daddy Ray. So I really feel like at the end of the day, that version of Stephen Thompson that I step in the cage with, I still don't think it's going to be good enough in order to get the win, for him. So I really believe that, even the best version of Thompson can't match up to me and what I bring. You know, even Vicente Luque was talking about, Vicente, 3.0, and I still went out there and did what I did to him. So yet again, I just look to just go out there, show the world what I'm capable of doing, and just dominating another win. Yeah.
I was interviewing Dana White earlier today, and we were talking about the rankings. And then he said, whenever you fight a ranked fighter, it's a difficult fight. But he said, when you get into that top 10 is where now all of a sudden you're in the elite of the elite of the
Yeah,
elite.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You are
Seven
number
digits.
11 right now, right? So you're
Yeah.
right there.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
like when you look going forward,
Mm.
assuming you win this fight and you're going forward, like, do you see favorable matchups in the division for you, or
I
how?
see a lot. I see a lot, and but at the end of the day, I'm not trying to fight the whole roster, right? You know, even if I had to do that, I would have to do that, right? If that was up to the UFC and they made that decision, then there's nothing I could do about it. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's about how many people you fight; it's about who you fight. And yet again, I think like just keep dominantly winning in the fashion that I'm doing. I can pick my fights. How I'm doing so right now. So I got a nice little call out. After this fight, it ain't gonna be Conor this time, though. I promise
Yeah.
you, it ain't Conor this time. But I definitely got a amazing call out right after this fight. But of course, the only person that's on my mind is Stephen Thompson that night.
Right, and of course it should be. And I wonder, do you feel like you're a different cat mentally, right? Like, because I remember talking to you in Abu Dhabi before one of your fights over there, and it seemed to me like you weren't as into it as much as it was fun, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now
yeah,
it's like I think you realize there's a lot of
yeah.
zeros on the paychecks if you win a couple more fights.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There's a lot of potential in this game for me now, especially with all the fights that I've been able to acquire in such a short amount of time. But also as well, I've been able to train with a lot of people that have also done it. Right.
Mhm.
So when you talk about Jamal Hill, when you talk about Sean Strickland, when you talk about Bilal Muhammad, I've trained with him before my Vicente Luque fight, it just showed me that all things are possible. So yeah, I keep a big smile on my face every day.
I thought of you on Saturday when Perez ZM had that great knockout of Matt Frivola, because every time there's a crazy knockout, I think of
Mhm.
your knockout of Impa Kasanganay. And so I want to
Wow.
ask you one question about that knockout. Again, Impa has won the PFL light heavyweight championship. He's in the finals again. Like, do you feel a kinship with him, like, because of the moment that you two share together? And like, are
Yeah.
you gratified to see the success that he is having since he
Of
left the
course.
UFC?
Of course, of course. No, no, no hate in my blood, I love what Impa was able to do, he didn't dwell on that moment, he used that moment and he let it fuel him, right? He let it push him. And, a lot of people will talk about, whatever they want to say, about his skill set because he fought me, but he's a very talented fighter, if not a world-class fighter because he's a world champion, and I don't know if he has fought for the second million. Did he fight for it already? Did he?
Coming up next
Yes.
month.
All right, cool. And I'm sure that I'm sure he has a great capabilities of doing it again. So yet again, for me, it also gives me a lot of light because you know, I was able to beat a great fighter like that. So
Right. A
what
big
does that
win for
show?
you.
What does that show about my ability? So, you know, I just know that everything is possible, everything is capable of me being a world champion one day. So that's what we're looking to do, man. Take the throne, 2025. Yeah, let's get it.
Looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah,
UFC 307 Saturday in Salt Lake City. I will be there ringside to see it. Joaquin Buckley, appreciate you, brother.
appreciate you.
All the best to you.
Thank you again, Kev.